Okay.
All right, so you just got your hood and maybe it's a little bit tight in the eyes. It actually could be pushing back quite a bit. If you just zoom in a little, you can see like it may impact your vision a little bit, may not feel super comfortable. Maybe it's a little bit too tight underneath the chin. Maybe you just feel like overall it could just be a little bit looser. So
Let's go ahead and first of all show you how to put this on. So this is an example of a hood that's just slightly too tight. This is one that we can make fit, but your fit is guaranteed. So if any of these measures fail, we can absolutely sort you out. First off, I'm going to show you how to most effectively put your hood on. Basically, you want to grab it like this, put it around the top, like so, head on the top, and then you pull
down and into place. That's the easiest way.
basically pulling it straight down on the top of your head. But once you've got it on, if it's as tight as you saw, there's a few things. If the whole hood feels just fine, it's really just the eyes. What you'll want is some micro RC cutters, and you can basically cut those in a moment. I'll show you how. However, with this hood, I actually want to make it a little bit looser on the back first. You don't want to start cutting the eyes before trying to expand the back, if the back is something where you feel like your whole head has a little bit too much pressure. So, just in the interest of time, I'm going to go pretty quick. But what we have here is a heat gun. This can be picked up at any hardware store. However, you can also make do with a hair dryer. It may just take a little while longer to heat up. If you're using a heat gun, especially, you have to be very careful not to stay on one area for too long. You can actually damage the latex. If latex becomes sticky to the touch, then the hood is damaged. You should probably get in contact with us, and we can help you sort that out and do some repairs in-house or possibly a replacement. However, what we're going to try and do here is basically heat this up to the point where when you touch the latex, it's really hot, almost painful to the touch, but not quite, not going to like burn you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up this area here around the back. I'm going to leave the zipper part alone. I'm actually going to zip this down to start with. What you don't want to be doing is putting a whole bunch of pressure directly on the zipper. So this whole time as you're going, be very conscious not to put too much undue pressure on this. The zipper is definitely, it should stay intact, but it is a weak point if you start putting too much pressure on it. So let's just go ahead and heat this up. Notice the circular motions. And what I'm going to be doing is a few passes here. I've got a good sense for how much this takes with the heat gun. With a hair dryer, it really just will depend on the type of hair dryer you have and how hot it gets. It may take you a couple minutes, whereas this should just be a few seconds. I'm going to do one more pass and then I'm going to feel it and see. It's pretty warm. Not quite hot enough. And slightly slower passes. Again, you don't want to overheat it, but you can get pretty hot with it. It's just a matter of not burning the latex, really. Okay, that should be plenty. Yes, that's quite hot. So it's not going to burn you, it's not going to scald you, but it's quite hot. What I'm going to do is, with my fist, I'm going to gently massage the inside, and actually the metal is quite a bit hotter. I'm going to massage the inside, so be a little careful about that. The zipper pull can definitely get hot. I'm just going to tug like this. Now this is going to allow the latex to stretch just a little bit. You don't want to apply too much pressure in any one place. You don't want to like get your knuckles pushing too hard in any one place. You're just going to kind of massage the whole hood like this, putting pressure, and it'll slowly just add maybe like even a millimeter of space. It's not going to be dramatic. We're not looking to make a dramatic sort of change. I'm just going to rub it with my knuckle like this on the inside, applying a decent amount of pressure. I'm holding the ears from the inside to allow myself to apply more pressure here. And I'm I'm just gonna go ahead and heat this up just again one more time. Excellent, that's nice and warm again. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do this one more time. You do wanna just sort of like do enough where you'll feel a difference, but you don't want to spend too long doing this before you try wearing it again. It's a lot easier to stretch it a little bit more, gradually, incrementally, and you'll slowly notice the fit start to sort of hug your head more rather than applying that sort of undue pressure. So that's that. What I want to do is also show you for the front of the neck. Now with this hood, I don't need to do a lot, but it's the exact same sort of approach. And actually with this one, we can kind of make use of a foot. Very technical. You want to sort of heat up the inside, heat up the outside. Now I'm not heating this up for as long as I normally would, because I'm not actually trying to stretch the front of the neck on this hood so much. But then you want to hold it like this. Now, again, I'm not putting the pressure on the zipper, and I'm going to basically make sure that I don't open the hood so much that I pop the zipper off. And when I'm holding this, I'm holding it by the latex. I'm not holding it by the zipper. And you can apply pressure with your foot to the front of the neck, just like this. And again, being very careful about that zipper, that you don't actually just sort of like yank on the corners or anything like that. And also that you're not putting so much pressure to try and like kind of push the zipper up a lot. If I just rip this open, like yank this like this, you can actually cause issues of separation with the zipper there, which you would never normally encounter in normal use. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on again. And now that I'm putting this on again, hopefully this will feel a little bit looser.
Awesome, it definitely feels a little looser. Still a little tight. I'd probably do this maybe 4 or 5 times. Just gradually
applying that pressure, just doing the same sort of motion over and over again, pushing, applying that sort of pressure like this. Normally with the zipper done up, but I just wanted to show you again. However, what we're gonna do now is assume that I've already got that to a good place, and I'm gonna show you how to trim the eyes. So the eyes, if they're applying pressure, what you wanna do is, first of all, while you're wearing it, identify by sort of holding it, looking in a mirror, and sort of touching the areas where it's applying. You wanna look in a mirror specifically, because a lot of the time the issue is kind of on the inside. Maybe there's a little bit on the upside, on the side there. Usually you don't need to trim too much closer to your cheeks on the outside here. So what I'm gonna do here is show you, let's zoom in on this really quick, just so you can sort of see what my hands are doing. So like I said, I don't really need to take any from there. What I'm gonna try and do is you're gonna fold the hood a little bit like this, and you wanna like be kind of careful when you're doing this, because it's very easy to trim too much. But you'll want to take those micro RC cutter scissors and trying to do the cleanest sort of cut you can. Work your way from the inside. Trying to make this as clean a cut as possible so that it's pretty comfortable against your face. And trying not to take off more than about 1 millimeter or 2 in any single pass. So if you're taking off more than that, chances are you'll be overcutting, and you may end up removing more material from your mask than you really need to. Okay, so coming around here, and with the Adobe specifically, you do not want to be cutting up on the eyebrow ridge. When I'm folding this out like this, I'm sort of taking in mind the natural sort of curvature of this, and I'm trying not to come up and onto the sculpt itself. I'm trying to, as much as possible, limit my cutting to the actual sort of eye hole and not infringe too much on the details of the hood. There. So you can see, if you're trimming, really just like about 1 millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters at most, you want to try and make sure that you're cutting gradually, starting from the inside rim, coming around. And I'll do the exact same thing on this side. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this on one more time. Again, it starts, if you're cutting, not to start cutting like this, because that'll make it fairly obvious. You want to turn this, the inside of the eye out, and you can actually start trimming from kind of the inside of the mask where it's pressing against your cheek a little bit, and then work your way to trimming a little tiny bit up onto that sort of lip or ledge. And I will say that with the werewolf specifically, like this is the Doberman, the werewolf is one of the ones that has the sort of deepest inset eyes, so you may end up finding yourself cutting a little bit more down onto the cheek in order to sort of make that work. That's okay. But you still want to go nice and slow. Whereas thankfully with the Dobie and some of our other ones, the eye design is not quite so severe, and you got a little bit more room to work with. So I will say that the werewolf is one of the ones where you may find yourself cutting the bottom a little bit into the sculpt, but it will actually look just fine and blend out. If you can get the fit to look right, it'll still look really natural and look good. And we try and do all this stuff in-house, obviously, to get a great fit to start with. So you hopefully don't have to do this, but we don't always quite make the mark. Everyone's got a slightly different head, and it's a little difficult to be 100% sure. So I just went ahead, trimmed that. I'm gonna go put this on again. You can see the technique works really well.
I'm gonna zip this up. Already feeling much better. I can still feel right here, for example, this side actually feels pretty good now. Like I said, I'm gonna stretch the back of this a little bit more. Trim that a bit.
But those are all the steps, and that's effectively what you're gonna be doing. It's just spending some time, going slow, repeating the process until you get that fit feeling right. And if all else fails, please do know that we have a fit guarantee. When we sell you a hood that's got the zipper installed, this doesn't count for our blankets, we guarantee that you'll get a good fit. And if you end up taking some of these steps and you feel like you've gone a little bit too far or you kind of ruined the look of the hood, get in contact with us. We will sort that out, and we will absolutely size you up, make sure that you get into a hood that fits and feels comfortable and fantastic, and that's what we promise at SnapJaw. So thanks for joining me.